Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside. Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, Roman comes back and lays out the Bloodline 2.0. Bron and Sami main event Raw in a 2 out of 3 falls match. We have Swerve Strickland getting forged in combat on Dynamite, and we are down to your final 4 in the G1. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
Little brother was getting that work. I'm like, man, stop throwing the damn towel.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Leslie Heelson, and sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCP?
Take me down to the Beaver City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Yeah. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 373. Chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smarks say it, hashtag boo the heels, it's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, the Holy Trinity of BFR. The band's back together in their usual spots. We gonna talk about a whole shit ton of wrestling this week. Kick it over to that west side.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Two Beer Zach Coleman. What's going on, Two Beer Zach?
Beer for Western House.
Oh, man, I've got all my kids under one roof for the first time since Christmas, and about to go on vacation this weekend, all week, leading into All In. So I'd say pretty good out here.
I like what you did there. That's professional shit right there. Professional. Nice segue.
Unprofessional bullshit.
We did not talk about how much wrestling he did not watch this week, did we? No, we saved that for before the show. A little peek behind the curtain.
Don't do that, man, like that.
So we're coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri, where the house is getting cleaned. We're having my little one's 3rd birthday party on Sunday. Always a good excuse to whip the house and the yard into shape. Not very much fun, but you know, it does feel.
Oh, dude, I love the before people come over clean, because I can get everybody invested in it.
Yes.
It's not just me.
Yes,
it's so good.
It is. The house it's needed it for a little while, you know. So that's all good. There's going to be a bunch of kids here, some family. No Bo tonight. He texted me. You know, he's doing family stuff, so he will be returning to us soon. I'm sure of it. But
now, big shout out to Bo. On the side note, his moving company came in, bang up job. If you're at local, Pink Zebra moving company is the shit. They quoted me a 3-hour quote time and got it done in 3 hours. You can't ask for much more than that.
Ask and deliver. You know what? There's no predictions this week. There's no massive stories. Dare I say, it's a slow week. So we should get this. We should get this done in less than 4 hours. We should get this done in the amount of time it would take you to watch Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2. So, without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
Damn, dog. All of us underneath the bus. Ow, ow, shit, my leg.
JCB, kick it off.
Let's go over to SmackDown on Friday night with Cody Rhodes opening the show. Interesting call out, but we'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, Solo comes out, wants a rematch. Kevin Owens slides in to bat the Bloodline away, which leads into Cody Rhodes wanting the next match at Bash of Berlin versus one Kevin Owens. I love the fact that Kevin Owens' response was, I haven't earned it. Look at my win-loss record. Very, very humble, it was the word that came up in my mind on Friday night when I watched it. Not very Kevin Owens-like in that scenario. I thought he would jump all over it. Not the case, but later on in the back when Nick Aldis was deciding to possibly give the match to Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens was not having any of that shit. Reluctantly accepting the title match versus Cody Rhodes. So obviously the match is set. Title match at Bash of Berlin. Cody Rhodes versus your boy, Kevin Owens. What you think, baby?
Well, you know, first of all, like you said, Kevin Owens is my boy. I appreciate the fact that Cody Rhodes offering Kevin Owens the match is a very babyface thing to do. Kevin Owens' reasoning for not wanting the match or saying he doesn't deserve it was very babyface. And also
Agreed.
Kevin Owens, when Aldis is backstage saying he's going to give it to Roman, Kevin Owens, just because Roman Reigns came back and got the huge babyface pot, that shouldn't mean anything kayfabe style to Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens being like, no, fuck that, I'll take the match. I had no problem with this. This was even aside from me just being a Kevin Owens mark, this was interesting to me. It made sense. I got zero problem with it. What do you think, Zach?
Well, I thought, it was interesting. I didn't love whenever he was like, no, I don't want a title match, because I was like, that's not very KO of you. But in the back, I did like whenever Adam Pearce said he was going to give it to Roman Reigns, and he was like, no. He's like, he doesn't deserve it. He's like, I beat him. And I just remember that time where Kevin Owens had him in literal handcuffs in the last man standing match, and then, like, they couldn't get the cuffs unlocked, and the ref just, like, stopped counting. And I was like, God, WWE used to suck so bad. And,
Man, it really did.
It really did. But I think this is fun. I don't like with KO. You always gotta wonder, about turning. They have the two biggest baby faces in the world on the same show right now, between Brock and Cody. So like, you don't really need like KO could flip, and that could be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, KO flipping definitely piqued my interest. Or, they've been doing a good job with long-term storytelling. So what I presented to you guys in the text thread was, I was like, okay, how could they make this interesting? Well, they can make it interesting if the Bloodline comes out and helps KO, and KO he kind of has to take the pin. He has to pin Cody because they get laid out by the Bloodline. KO pins him, and then KO's kind of a reluctant champ, and then shit starts to get weird between him and Cody. That's obviously not going to happen, I don't think, but, it's something. They could do something interesting with it, or at least they can plant the seeds for an idea of something interesting. What do you think, Jason?
I was still on the same lines of, I'm getting my ass beat for you type of a vibe, you know what I'm saying? And it could still come up. Obviously, KO has a match against Grayson Waller on Friday night, which should be a little slapstick, because this is Austin Theory throwing Grayson Waller underneath the bus. But a part of me doesn't think that you really need to have a heel here, but it would be intriguing to see KO kind of creep into the dark side, just because he has been getting his ass beat by Cody. Maybe it happens again. He's just like, you know what? I'm sick of getting my ass beat because of your ass.
But with you saying that, the most likely outcome here is that Cody beats him clean and they remain friends. Like, that's the most likely outcome. Don't you think, Zach?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but we can always hope.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job with long-term storytelling.
Triple H is cooking, baby. That's all I'm going to say.
Really is.
A-Town Down Under loses to the Street Profits in I guess this was a number one title, tag team title match or something like that.
To see who faces DIY for the number
one spot. Okay, yeah. Thank you. I was going to say that because DIY was popped up later on. Tiffany Stratton gets interrupted by Chelsea Green backstage, trying to plan Nia Jax's victory lap for next week. Still trying to see what we're doing with Chelsea Green. Tiffany Stratton obviously is going to be around Nia Jax in the title, but Chelsea Green still with a little buzz from Money in the Bank, but it's kind of dissipated a little bit. We need to get her heated back up again, because if we're going to have mid-card titles, to me, she is a shoo-in for one of the mid-card titles. Jade defeats Alba Fire, but then they get jumped. They being Jade and Bianca gets jumped by Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, and Blair Davenport. Obviously, Naomi comes out to make the save, so you have some sort of six-woman feud going on here. Don't necessarily mind Blair Davenport being with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. It's something for her to do versus what they were doing, which was absolutely nothing. LA Knight comes out for his victory lap. He gets interrupted by Santos Escobar. that will leads into the Santos Escobar Andrade match. Carmelo makes the save for Santos, pulling him out of the way of the double knee into the side of the post or whatever, and then Escobar rolls him up with the tights for the win. So now you have Santos Escobar versus LA Knight for the first crack of LA Knight's U.S. title. I'm assuming that LA Knight's going to win this. Any thoughts on anything I've talked about, Three Beer?
I think Santos Escobar is a good contender for that. I don't see LA Knight dropping it super quick, but good contender, good opponent. I feel like it elevates Santos Escobar being at a feud with LA Knight, which is kind of a funny thing to say, but it really does.
Yeah, this is definitely way better for Santos Escobar, because when he came out, I was like, you know what? He just doesn't seem big enough. Like,
wow.
The mid-card titles have been Gunther and Logan Paul for a long time. And who did Logan Paul win it off of?
Oh, geez, Louise. Goddamn. Wow.
I don't remember. It wasn't Austin Theory, was it? Somebody beat him for it before that happened.
Was it Ricochet?
Was it Ray?
I think
it was Rey Mysterio, I thought.
Oh, anyway, it's been Logan Paul and Gunther for a long time. And LA Knight and Bron Breakker feel like, I was thinking about today, I was like, man, the four top men's belt holders right now are Gunther, Cody, LA Knight, and Bron Breakker. That is like pretty right on. That's like exactly where they should be. Santos Escobar seems a level below those guys, but that doesn't mean that he can't be elevated by a feud with LA Knight. He's really good.
It really is like a child booked it, which is, I mean that in a good way. Like, if like a kid at school is like made his favorite people champions.
Yes.
And that's kind of what you want. You want the fans to be behind the champs.
Yep, for sure.
He beat Rey Mysterio. I had to double check just so I wasn't losing my goddamn mind. Giovanni Vinci makes his return to SmackDown with an interesting vignette, almost WWE, dare I say, meets 007 kind of thing. It kind of gave me 007 vibes. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the cars or the skiing or just...
I got a comparison that's going to knock your socks off.
Go ahead.
This is exactly what it is. It was Alberto Del Rio from like 2008, 2009. He was the very rich foreigner that got cool vignettes about his cool cars and shit, and he's just living the high life, and now he's getting ready to grace wrestling with his presence. I'm into it.
Okay. Three beer.
What do you think, Zach?
I wasn't watching during whenever I've never seen Alberto Del Rio wrestle one time. So.
Oh, well, Alberto Del Rio's his introduction to WWE made him seem like a super big deal. They shot him up straight to the top of the card, and he came in as like a really rich dude.
Think JBL.
I've only seen him.
Like
on
JBL.
TNT.
Yeah, very similar actually.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't even think about Giovanni Vinci in that vein, but now that you say that, I can totally see that.
I thought it was a cool vignette.
Giovanni Vinci has talent. Now, for whatever reason, him with Imperium, he ate the pins, and then obviously Ludwig Kaiser beat him down to the point where,
Wasn't his name Fabian Eichner?
Yeah, at one point.
That's a cool name.
Could have stuck with that.
I know.
Neither here nor there. Like I said, I think he's got talent. It's just a matter of now, can Triple H cook his ass up and make him feel viable like he did with Ludwig Kaiser?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I'm on board.
DIY with the backstage vignette. RIP to Kevin Sullivan. Vignette about him. A-Town Down Under with well, like I said, that was the switch where Austin Theory made the match for Grayson Waller next week versus KO. And then obviously to close the show, you had one Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline getting waxed by one Roman Reigns. I'll be the first to admit it. Didn't want Roman Reigns back, but now that he's back, I'm curious to see where this Joker goes. I mean, the band feels like it's going to get back together. I feel like there's another Swerve coming up. Poor Tongaloa. He's just getting all kinds of hell, holding up the belt wrong. I mean, that motherfucker just can't do shit right. Like, we just
Tell you what, it feels like we're getting warmed up for WrestleMania season is what it feels like.
a little early, but yeah.
I'm all right with it.
No, I mean, this is going to be long-term storytelling, especially when we get to Royal Rumble season and Roman's not the champ. And you got a lot of guys that are going to be top of the guy cards. John Cena, obviously, is going to be back for the Royal Rumble. Punk, Drew.
I forgot about Cena.
Everybody, their mama's going to be back for next year's Royal Rumble. It's going to be a hot shit show, and I'm here for it. So how they book Roman between now and then, I guess, is the ultimate question. Obviously, Roman Reigns coming back is a big deal. I don't expect to see him often a lot, but if you drop him here and there throughout the rest of the year, I guess, for this next 6 or 7 months, you should be fine. Like I said, for me, I don't want to see a lot of Roman Reigns. A little goes a long way.
Where are you at, Zach?
Well, got me thinking about Cena winning the Rumble. Or Elimination Chamber. He's in both. I think he wins one of them. Early prediction.
I can't disagree. Elimination Chamber sounds more about right. Rumble feels like it should go to somebody else.
It's going to be the season of Cena.
Oh, yeah, next year it's on. You're going to hate next year. WWE in certain points, you're going to hate it.
Take me another fucking 7 years to get it out, fucking nasty taste out of my mouth. I've just recovered from it.
Damn, dog.
Fucking corny ass motherfucker.
Let's go over to Raw before this nigga blows the gasket.
Zach, you got anything to say about Roman coming back?
Oh, just like I mentioned earlier, like this is two huge baby faces. Like, you don't normally get this lucky. When's the last time you've seen two baby faces this over in a wrestling company? And it was probably in the 90s.
Yeah, because Rock and Austin, one of them was always heel. I mean, they never went. They were never baby. Well, they had to be baby faces at the same time.
At one point, I'm sure, but just it always felt like even one was.
And that would have been before the brand split too.
Yeah, I was going to say it always felt like one was a tweener leaning towards heel, the other was the crowd favorite. Either way you slice or dice it, they were foils, and one played off of the other. You have that, in modern day WWE right now with multiple people. So it's going to be interesting. That's all I can say. I'm ready for Roman to come back, but like I said, you can take your time.
I'm ready for Raw.
Raw opens up with Rhea Ripley coming out and still being a little pissed off, but still wants some revenge on Dominic and Liv, who come out, troll Rhea for a little bit, which enters Damian Priest from behind. One big, I guess, schmaz from that point on. Not necessarily a huge fan about that. To me, this is more about Rhea and Damian Priest being established as big baby faces. Never thought I would see Damian Priest as a big baby face like I do right now, but the Judgment Day rub is working for him. That leads into a Damian Priest versus Carlito match. Obviously, Damian Priest wins, but then Judgment Day does jump Damian Priest. Rhea comes out to make the save. Yada yada yada. Ivy and Maxine.
You got me real distracted whenever you said entering Damian Priest from behind. But I did like the Dom, like he could have been like even slightly babyface. Where I like that thing where I used to call you mommy and now I have a girl that calls me daddy. Like that was like it got a pop, but it was definitely like heel stuff. But he could have been like, you didn't treat me well enough, and like kind of play like a babyface or like just like a punk. But he just like said the heelest shit ever, which was, now I can eat chicken tendies and play video games whenever I want. Which is the most hateable shit. Oh my god, what an incel motherfucker. It was so good.
He is really doing tremendous work. I think that you could say that Rhea Ripley is the most over baby face on Raw.
Totally. I think 100% she is.
Yeah, like she is mega over, and Damian Priest, to a lesser extent, is also big time over, and a lot of that has to do with Dom, Finn, and Liv Morgan. You know, even JD McDonough to a certain extent. I mean, he's playing his part well. The Judgment Day are good, and look where they're at now. Rhea is a fucking massive star. Very young, too.
Mm-hmm. All kinds of fucking
Yeah.
high hopes for her ass. Ivy Now and Maxine have an interaction backstage. We'll come to that in a little bit. Wyatt Six vignette of their debut from last week. New Day and Odyssey Jones backstage.
Chicken tendies.
That's great.
Still thinking about it.
Dom is dead. That's my motherfucking boy. I'm so glad he's here. It's been an amazing ride to watch so far. New Day and Odyssey Jones backstage. Xavier Woods creeping slowly to the dark side. I'm sorry, this doesn't even make me vaguely interested. The Final Testament for me has jumped the shark weeks ago. Flipping Xavier Woods at that point would do nothing for me except for just make me want to see his ass get whooped by Kofi more. Go ahead. I
want to hear what Zach says about this, but I have one more thing to say about Dom, and this is a very early prediction.
Uh-oh.
But Dom Mysterio is going to induct Rhea Ripley into the Hall of Fame someday. That is going to be who inducts her. I love that. I was just thinking, they're both like 27 years old, and they are this intertwined. They're going to be intertwined forever in the eyes of wrestling fans. And like,
so are they Eddie in China?
I don't even know. It's going to be I think it's going to be something a lot more like they're going to have huge trajectories on their career, and they're going to be old someday, and Rhea Ripley's going to go into the Hall of Fame someday, and it would make sense for Dom to induct her. I think that sounds like a really cute story to me, actually.
It does.
Very WWE of you, my friend.
But, Zach, what do you think about the New Day stuff?
Yeah, I don't care about it. I do love that, what's their name, Final Testament has two managers, and neither one of them say a fucking word.
I know, man. I'm like, what is Paul Ellering doing there? And now he's got an X on his forehead.
What the fuck is that? I'm like, dude, stop.
Why has he got an X on his forehead?
Nigga.
Is there any reasoning? I'll say this. I'm in the minority with you two guys. I am into this New Day story. Show me what's going to happen. They're actually doing something with them. I was thinking about this the other day, too. What a bunch of babies the New Day have been. No, we don't want to break up. We don't want to break up. Dude, you're doing a play every week. You're in theater. You guys aren't actually breaking up. Like, they're just now there is some intrigue as to what's going to happen. And I was thinking, this is what I would do. Give me the pencil.
Okay, here we go.
I'm having Ozzy Jones and Kofi Kingston turn on Xavier Woods.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
And what? Just be heels?
Yeah, they're heels. They get sick of his fucking attitude. I mean, Ozzy Jones touched him on his hand, and he was wiping his hand. It's like, dude, that dude can't even touch you?
Right.
Like, Xavier Woods is, he's pretty pissed off. But anyway, like, you know, they're giving me a story. I would like to see the New Day break up.
Then Xavier Woods teams with Apollo Crews, and then they form a tag team called Showtime at the Apollos.
Oh, no.
Man, that's really good. That is really good.
You ain't shit.
And then they join up with Lashley and MVP, and they call them the Hurt Business. Hey, listen. I'm not racist. They could have fucking asked Otis to be in the New Day. They could have asked anybody.
Otis is holding down American or Alpha. What is it? Alpha Academy. I'm sorry.
They picked another black guy, not me.
You didn't have to say Showtime at the Apollo. That's all I'm saying.
His name's Apollo Crews.
Apollo 13? I don't know. Figure something else out.
Well, Xavier Woods' name's Apollo. What? His real name is Apollo.
Oh,
no. Xavier Woods' real name
is
Apollo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You can Google it. I'll go on.
I thought it was something real normal, like Austin.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
Shit.
I think
my joke is not nearly as fun.
Ozzy Jones with the squash match, obviously setting up more fuel for the Final Testament New Day match, which is a match now, 6-man tag next week. Once again,
Austin Watson.
Okay, I was about to say Apollo sounded a little off.
His name is Austin Creed on the Up, Up, Down, Down. That's what made me think of it.
Oh, yeah.
He calls himself Austin Creed, so okay. Block.
Yeah, right.
Just fix that in post.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
Drew McIntyre confronts Jesus Christ. Adam Pearce backstage wanting to know the status of the world title match. Why is Randy Orton coming over from SmackDown getting a title match when obviously he feels that he should be the next man in line for Gunther? He says he's going to go out and take care of it himself, which obviously leads him to interrupt the Gunther and Randy Orton one-on-one promo battle. I thought this was good on both sides. Gunther playing the heel that, I think he should be playing. Randy playing the big-time babyface, talking about his family and all the things he's done. I wouldn't be surprised to see him being booed in Berlin, but time will tell. If he's not, then they're playing the roles that I think we all are accustomed to see them playing. I'm intrigued for this match. Round 2 should be good. Gunther is probably going to go over, but goddamn, I can't wait for this match.
Zach?
Yeah, it should be good. I fully expect Randy Orton. I love booed in Berlin. It's like a great subtitle or something. Randy Orton's next mixtape.
I'll say this about Punk and McIntyre. If they were a gallon of milk, they wouldn't be that feud wouldn't be expired yet, but the expiration date is like tomorrow. Like,
it's approaching.
To have McIntyre come out for Punk to pretend he's not there, and then for Punk to attack him and still go after the bracelet, it's like, I don't know, take a couple weeks off or something. It just that was.
I don't know if they're
like
doing that.
When McIntyre and Punk came out there, I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to see more Gunther and Orton. Is how I felt. That's not what I would have predicted.
No,
going into
the
that
worst
segment.
thing that happened to that feud was that they actually had a match. It was great until they had a match, and then now it's cooled off.
I mean, that's true. It is cooled off, though. You agree with that, right, Jason?
Well, yeah, because we saw the physicality. Now we got to figure out, how to up the stakes again, if that is possible. Now, the only way that we're doing that, at least, in the Drew Punk scenario, is that, Punk is so obsessed with this, freaking bracelet, it doesn't even make sense. He can't see straight. So I guess we're getting round 2. It's just the when and where, and then from that point, Survivor Series is obviously coming up. From that point, I would love to see them take a break until the Rumble comes around and then, have them cross paths at that point. But
now, Gunther and Orton, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was,
tremendous segment.
Gunther is an amazing heel.
Gunther is unbelievable. What control he has over his tone as a character. He really, really gets it. And calling Bob Orton a loser and his grandpa a loser.
I was like, yep, here we go.
It might seem cheap, but I believe that his character believes that.
Oh, yeah, sure. And the fact he gets RKO'd at the end of the segment doesn't mean anything. It's just, Randy Orton.
That's why when Gunther kept saying you're predictable, I was like, that's when Randy Orton should have just RKO'd him right there. Like, he called him predictable, RKO. Boom.
Yeah.
Did you see that coming?
No, of course not, because you still basically talking too much shit. Either way, we got what we needed in this scenario. Randy gets his comeuppance at the end of the segment, which just, like I said, I'm ready for that fucking match. American Made defeats Alpha Academy with the help of Ivy Now, finally flipping heel, turning on Maxine, distracting Alpha Academy for the win. Pete Dunne with I thought was a really good segment, talking about Sheamus and being Butch and all this other good stuff. I think Pete Dunne has kind of gotten lost in the sauce, but now kind of, resurfacing back up to the top. I know you're a Pete Dunne fan. 3 Beers a Pete Dunne fan. Any thoughts on where this Pete Dunne iteration is going? We can start with 3 Beer and you can kick it the bill from that point.
He's getting pushes on 2 shows right now. So, I think it's, Return of the Bruiserweight is dope. And as a serious mid-card title contender to me, or maybe even if you just want to have a random dope like Raw match with Gunther for the WWE title.
Yeah, I mean, listen, how are you supposed to root against him after that promo, that sit-down promo that he had the other night? Like, talking about how stupid Butch was and how he had to fight through it and that he elevated Sheamus, that Sheamus was barely getting around and he was doing all the dirty work and shit. I don't remember if that's exactly what I said, but that's what I feel like he said.
Sounds about right.
But, yeah, I mean, give me all the Pete Dunne you can. He fucking rules. He's incredible.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see where this Pete Dunne iteration goes. You know, more Pete Dunne, the better. I'm with you on that. Nice little vignette on Bronson Reed squashing Seth Rollins multiple times. I love numbers, and that was, you know, intriguing to watch how many times Seth Rollins got tsunami'd the week before. We have a name for Team Forehead. They're calling themselves Pure Fusion Collective. I like Team Forehead better. Neither here nor there.
I mean, listen, Pure
This
Fusion,
is the worst name.
Pure Fusion Collective, right off the bat, gets entered into the worst team names of all time.
Yes.
Worse than the Viking Experience. It's up there. It's not Swerve in Our Glory, and it's not Naturally Limitless.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. Swerve in Our Glory, we need to be putting Pure Fusion Collective into that feels about right.
It's not a mishmash of their names, you know? Like,
fair.
You know, like Naturally Limitless.
Completely fair. Completely
like
fair.
Mid-show and shit like that. Like,
completely fair.
So, but Pure Fusion Collective sucks. Just call yourself the Collective. Just call yourself the Collective.
Something. Anything. This is bad, bad, bad. When they said it, I was just like, oh, damn.
Unless fusion is like some Zoomer slang for scissoring or something.
I'm sure that's not the case, but neither here nor there. Damage Control and
this is why I don't bring up the podcast when I'm at work.
Of course.
I do not want people to know that I'm on here.
No.
No.
Damage Control and Pure Fusion Collective, they have a match that ends in a disqualification, a total schmaz, where all sides are getting attacked. I'm assuming this is going to lead into some sort of tag team title match or triple threat or something. Neither here nor there. I'm just hoping that somehow, some way, Io Sky can maneuver her way out of this and getting back to the single scene. That's just me. Next up, you have R-Truth making a match for Miz, thinking it's supposed to be against
we were all
Braun
thinking
Breaker.
it. He said it. A lot of guys named Bron.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is not Braun Breaker. It is Bronson Reed. Miz goes out and handles him as best he could, but ultimately gets overwhelmed by Bronson Reed for the loss, and then Bronson Reed attacks R-Truth post-match.
R-Truth better be gone longer than Seth Rollins is all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. R-Truth caught that work on Monday night to the point where it felt like I felt more sympathy for R-Truth than I did for Seth Rollins. I'll go that far.
Well, I'll go as far as to say, let's just get R-Truth off TV for a little while.
Damn, dog.
Professional wrestler applying this trade.
That's some shit.
Yeah.
What do you think, Zach?
Oh, man. Bronson Reed is about to be a big baby face if he keeps the shit up. People love watching him do this.
If he, the right way to do it when they chant one more time is not to do it. That's the heel shit. I'm just saying. Sheamus.
That'll get you heat, but, man, he is over his shit. Like,
jumping Seth Rollins did him wonders of good. Okay, not sure why. I guess it's because it's Seth Rollins, but once they had him jump Seth, he's went into a different stratosphere. Now they waiting for him to jump on somebody else.
Fucking 3-minute warning.
When he went from like one thing and he crawled up and like they were yelling at him and he came back down, and I was like, it would be so great if he just walked back over to the other side and jumped on him, and he totally did it.
I did sorry, Zach, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I was saying it was great.
I did like Jamie Noble, like trying to be like, don't do it. And then like at the very end, he's like diving for his life. I thought that was about as realistic as it could possibly get. You knew he was jumping
Noble's
on
out
this motherfucker.
there. Noble will take a bump. Noble's out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it just, to me, it felt like, as much as this was scripted, Jamie Noble took one step out of the box and was like, I'm going to wait until the very end and then, dive out of the way for my own protection to make it feel more realistic. So I think kudos to obviously Bronson Reed. Finally he's getting a little bit of love. But I thought the others around him, Miz, R-Truth, Jamie Noble, all helped in making Bronson Reed look like the menace that he should be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, beef backstage, gets interrupted by the aforementioned Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne jumps Sheamus. Ludwig Kaiser kind of gives him the, go ahead, player, that's all you. I love heels. Heels be like, oh, you kicking his ass? Psh, bet. Yeah, go ahead and do your thing. I'll catch him next week.
I'm glad that Ludwig Kaiser's still hanging around Sheamus, though.
Yeah, I think somehow, some way, we need to get more of a Sheamus rub onto Ludwig Kaiser so he can go on to hopefully bigger and better things in the mid-card. Obviously, Punk backstage still looking for Drew McIntyre. We've already talked about that. Miz gets squashed by Bronson Reed. Talked about that. Then obviously the main event for the Intercontinental Championship. Best 2 out of 3 falls. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Sami wins the first match. Braun wins the second match. Both kind of quick. I guess I didn't look at how much time was left on Raw.
There wasn't very much time left.
Okay, so that's why I was like, damn, this is happening kind of fast. But the third fall, I thought, made up for the first 2.
I actually thought that Braun Breaker was just going to win the first 2 when I saw how little time was left. I was like, oh, it's not even going to go 3 falls. Like,
did you watch it live?
I didn't watch it live, but I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going to happen. Zach, what'd you think?
Yeah, same. I kind of assumed they just book it to have him win 2 just because, but they're going to be in fine, time for, Braun to move on and face some new challengers and for Sami to move on, maybe form up and wrestle for the tag belts with KO.
Yeah, I mean, that Bloodline stuff's coming up with Sami pretty soon, and I think that's where he's going.
No, I was about to say, him and Jay beat Judgment Day a couple of weeks ago, so, I mean, to me, KO's going to be tied up.
Or Jay.
Yeah, KO's going to be champ.
Yeah. He's calling his shot. I wanted you better hold on to that. You was fucking with me about Mariah May and
no, I feel good about the Dom inducting Rhea though. That's pretty good. That's like a 20-year. It's like a 20-year guarantee.
This is your new Brodus Clay.
That's my Stone Cold Lead Pipe lock of the decade. Next decade. The
Bloodline's going to come out. Bloodline's going to come out. There's going to be a whole bunch of interference. Cody's still going to overcome it, but then Triple H is going to come out and lay out Cody and hand KO the belt.
I remember watching that live.
That buddy. I was like, awesome. What?
KO was like, I mean, the legend on that is that KO didn't know it was happening either.
If you go back and see the look on his face, it's as surprised as surprise gets.
I don't know how true that is, but,
No,
KO has said that.
I would bite on that motherfucking hook. I'm sorry. The look on his face was instantaneous, like, what? Give me this belt. Yeah. I'm up. So that's it for the one count for WWE style. Obviously, we'll be talking about more things next week leading to Bash of Berlin, but we do have one match. Obviously, more coming up. I'm excited for this
next week Bash of Berlin?
Predictions? Next week, I don't think so.
This is a good pod.
I'd have to check.
1, 2, 3.
Unprofessional bullshit.
Yeah.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
You got me there.
It's the week after All In.
Okay, see?
That's professional bullshit.
2 count is some AEW. As usual, Rampage was skippable, and I know that because I skipped it, and I'm still alive, and my heart's still beating.
See, look at
red heart, red blood into my American cock, and I'm just fine.
Wow. That took a strange turn.
That made me want to salute.
I don't even know what that
Fuck
shit
him,
means.
JF.
But also, like, Collision mostly skippable as well. It's interesting because, you know, we're 2 weeks from All In, and it just feels like Collision is very separated from that event. It is useful in getting folks television time, you know, and kind of maybe generating some new, if not stars, then at least like some star power, some talent, and getting people TV time. But, you know, it's like Darby Allin and Hologram versus Premier Athletes. Like, out of all of those people, there's one that's going to be on All In, and he's not. None of those other people are even tangentially related to the person that he's wrestling at All In. So, yeah, it's kind of like the theme.
Yeah, I mean, Collision is just okay every week. It is not the number one show, and it's clearly not the number one show. The one thing that really stuck out to me from Collision is, like, the Outrunners are basically like a Mandela effect FTR. Like, they were standing across from each other, and I was like, are these guys the same tag team from a different dimension?
Stop.
And I think I like the Outrunners more.
Outrunners like video thing is really cool. Like they
the
are like
80s
they're a
thing?
throwback.
Yeah.
They're a throwback.
They are a throwback. They're just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it totally gave me all the 85.
I mean, they can't wrestle as well, but I mean, there's that too. But,
But if they start talking about how much they love professional wrestling, especially AEW and their daughter, then
if one of them has a
time
daughter
telling
and starts bringing it up,
Stop. I thought Collision was fine.
Prince Nana's going to eat her blueberries.
Right? I was about to say, taking pictures over the
I
crib.
shouldn't say shit like that. That sounded fucking dirty.
I mean, it's on tape, man.
It sounded criminal. I'll take it out.
Was.
I'll take it out in post.
It was.
Prince Nana.
before they're right.
I say they broke into that man's house. That's why Hangman running around here acting all funky right now. I thought Collision was good, actually. I mean, if you just look at the matches, Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa, I thought was a good Texas Bull Rope match. Obviously, Ishii and Swerve in the middle of that bad boy. Anybody with Ishii is going to have a good match, and then you put him across the AEW champion. I thought that was a solid match, too. So, I mean, those two matches were good. Cardio having a nice little vignette. It's good to see him, getting a little love. It was a skippable, probably, but if you watch just the matches were good.
Yeah, and that tends to be the theme, and like that's kind of generally speaking, kind of how it is. Like it's not a poorly booked show. It just doesn't seem to build a whole lot. Dynamite is clearly the show that they want you to watch in order to build the pay-per-views.
It's Thursday Night Thunder.
Ouch.
Yeah, but with better wrestling.
Yeah, with better wrestling. I mean, Swerve versus Ishii never happened on Thursday Night Thunder. I mean, that's pretty fucking great. Zach's boys made another appearance, MXM. They were backstage with Top Flight. Might have been leaning a little too hard into it. I think I like the subtle stuff a little bit better, but I'm not going to critique them from week to week. I'm into the act. Zach.
I'm with you there. I thought it was... I was kind of a little embarrassed watching.
It was a little much this week. I was just like, all right, we need to reel it back like 2 or 3 notches. I like the Jack Perry vignette on Collision, talking about when he was destroying all the televisions of former TNT champions. I thought that was solid.
I mean, in kind, the Darby vignette on Dynamite talking about Jack Perry was really good, too.
True.
So they're building up this match. I'm going to make a prediction that Jack Perry is going to induct Darby. No, I'm kidding.
I'll say, you better calm down with all that, calling your shots 20 years down the line shit.
But, yeah, and then, sorry, go ahead, Zach.
Really, one thing of note, the main thing of note on here that does relate to All In was Jim Ross's sit-down interview with Bryan Danielson, which was good. He's talking about his neck, his concussions, and he's like, odds are I'm going to need neck surgery before the end of the year. And Jim Ross is like, well, that's news. And I'm like, well, that's fucking news. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This has been a weird build for a world title match. But especially with the video package, and Swerve's sit-down interview, Daniel's sit-down interview, the video package on Wednesday. I am definitely here for it, but it is pretty interesting. Overall, it's a big match. It feels big. It's going to be a really great match, but the build doesn't feel super personal, if that makes sense.
No, it will in a minute.
Jason, what do you think?
Obviously, the end of Dynamite, I think that's where it's going to start getting super personal after the finish and the parting shots from Swerve talking about, sending Danielson off to retirement. A lot of this just, like I said, I don't think you necessarily need to put the career on the line. If you'd have took that stipulation back and then played, still had this sit-down interview with JR and still had the angle at the end. I mean, we all know what's going on with Danielson. Him saying that him going to have neck surgery is like, okay, so just in, the wrestling fans' mind, how are you going to take the title off of a champion that's seemingly healthy to appease the promoter and, some of his fans? But the more and more that I see this going on, I can see it happening. I just, I feel bad. If it does, I would feel bad for Swerve because this is a chance to really make Swerve. Everybody, you always like to throw up Baron Corbin as the guy that retired Kurt Angle. As janky as I might not like to think that is, or as janky as I think that is, it's just pure fact. You can't take that away. I think that would be a huge feather in the cap for Swerve to have that going forward. But we'll see.
I'm completely perplexed. I'm all turned around. I was thinking that Swerve was going to win. Danielson said that thing about needing neck surgery, and then they had the Green Day vignette. I hope you have the time of your life. I mean, just real cheesy shit, and it made me think, yeah, he's not losing. They're pouring it on a little too thick.
A little too thick.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he did, it's pro wrestling, and like Daniel has already said, like he's just not going to retire. Like he's going to be Terry Funk, basically. So he's spent his entire AEW time putting guys over. So I never really expected him to do any less here. But maybe they're just doing a really good job of making us think that he's going to win, because it does seem like he's going to win.
Swerve is not a transitional champ, though. He beat Ospreay, and beating Ospreay, he is a made guy. So him losing to Danielson, that's no skin off his nose.
No shame in it. No, for me, I want to max out Swerve as much as possible, and I think beating Danielson, sending him into retirement would be a huge step in that direction.
The last pay-per-view of the year is in Washington State, right? I mean, so Swerve still might retire him,
I mean,
yeah.
When you get to this step, I mean, I don't want to necessarily see another match. I mean, not unless how do you up the stakes from this point? I mean,
First one's going to knock your socks off, though.
That's fine, but then we're just going to have a regular match after that? That just seems, taking a step back. Feels like this is all chips in the middle, for lack of a better term. It's an all-in move. So, for me, no matter who wins this match, I don't know if I really want to see a second one that quickly, if at all.
I kind of selfishly do, just because I want to watch it, because it's like 2.5 hours from my house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I ain't going to try to cock block you.
Like, I know what you mean, though, as far as like taking a step back, but that happens in all promotions all the time, where they do the cage match before the regular match. And I hate to cut people's mind too. I'm just saying it happens.
No,
but it is. I agree with the logic. So then there was also something related to All In, which is the main event, a number one contenders match for the trios titles, House of Black versus Bang Bang Gang. Christian Cage is the special guest referee. This went exactly like everybody thought it would. But of course, He says that there's nobody going to challenge the patriarchy, but that is not going to be the case.
Yeah, this is going to be a total triple threat. Once we got the shenanigans out of the way early, I thought this was a pretty solid main event. But then obviously the fuckery at the end, I just had to laugh at a certain point because I'm like, okay, so let's get this straight. So 3 motherfuckers are going to take out you 6 other motherfuckers. All right, man, whatever works. You tell the story. I like the patriarchy. I like Christian Cage. I would be lying if I said otherwise. I did get a good giggle off of them coming out and destroying both teams, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that the patriarchy comes out and handles both teams, no matter how physical the match could be.
Bill still around, or he?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I don't have much to say about this. It seemed pretty predictable, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was a schmoz Saturday night, too, just to turn into a triple threat.
True story.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So, yeah, Dynamite, pretty good show. The opener was Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida, which is a pretty big match, really, for a TV. And I don't know that this was like a title eliminator or anything, or was it for the title?
Was it for the title?
I thought it was for the title.
Nice. Well, yeah, pretty cool. I know she's been getting some wins and stuff. Unfortunately, she did not get a win here. And she ended up losing, but the whole big thing was basically Britt Baker, her music played afterwards, so they're building up the match at Wembley. They got physical here. Camille broke them up. But, yeah,
I'll
Baker
tell you
went
what,
after Mercedes.
They never went back to say who that was that Camille beat up in the front row, the dude with the Sting mask that she thought was Britt Baker.
Caught that work.
That person just got the shit beat out of him, and they never went back to it. Like, don't sit in the front row at AEW with the fucking Sting mask, man. You're going to get taken out.
I'd say Camille looking for your ass.
That guy tried to sue, but then they said, oh, no, like, you subscribe to AEW Plus on Fight TV, so Camille can beat you up at any time.
You know what you signed for. Here's just a signature on the release.
It's like that Seinfeld where Kramer settles without his lawyer with the tobacco company, and he doesn't get any money. He just gets to be on the billboard as the new Marlboro Man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They're like, yeah, we can pay you for Camille beating you up, but how about we get you AEW Plus subscription?
Bad. Totally dope.
One of the bad joke about that guy is whose wife died at Disney World from a food allergy, and then Disney said that he wasn't allowed to sue because he had signed up for a free trial of Disney Plus, and in the terms and conditions it said that you're not allowed to arbitrate.
Damn.
That's a real thing that just happened.
Cold-blooded.
Okay, just read the fine print, nigga. Damn. That's some shit. I just click on that shit, turns and motherfucker, click that shit off.
I agree.
What the fuck? I can't sue. Yeah, that sounds like some shit. Just some quick takeaways from this opening match. I thought this was, a good match. Predictable as it may be, I still say Sheeta is one of the most disrespected women's champions of all time. I don't care what nobody says.
You've been on that train for a while.
And I'm going to stay on that motherfucker. Mercedes Moné's finisher, it's time to retire it. She can't do it. Nobody else can do it with her. Figure it out. Go back to the bank statement. Just call it something else. I don't know what to tell you. That the move just doesn't work. I mean, I get what you're trying to do, but the finish, I was just like, ugh.
Just name the bank statement something else.
Yeah, I don't care what it is.
Name it the money clip.
Name it the money clip.
Fine.
Perfect. Name it the canceled check.
Fine. There you go. Okay. There you go, TK.
Give me a couple minutes. I'll come up with some more.
That's what I'm saying. 2 good ass ideas.
The safe deposit box.
All right. There you go. 3 good ass ideas. That move is the worst finishing move I've seen in a hot minute because nobody can do it the way you think it should be done. Time to retire that motherfucker. Britt coming out, fine. That is what it is. I agree with 3 Beer of a lot of this. The builds for a lot of these matches, minus MJF and Ospreay and Swerve and Danielson, I'll give you that. I'll concede you that. The rest of the builds, I can do without those. The matches I expect to be good. The builds, not so much.
Yeah, well, welcome to AEW. I mean, they have some really good builds, but I mean, even when they don't have good builds, the matches always deliver. The pay-per-views always deliver.
I expect Mercedes and Britt to deliver.
When an AEW pay-per-view is not at least a B, you're kind of like, man, what the fuck? You know?
That's fair.
Yeah. Adam Page beat the shit out of Jay Lethal, and I don't just mean in kayfabe, but I feel like he really beat the shit out of Jay Lethal. Like, a pretty brutal clothesline here, Death Valley Driver. The ref was like checking on him both times. It's pretty rough.
9-minute squash match. He beat the shit out of him.
Damn shame.
Page is pissed.
Yeah, Lethal got like 5 topes in a row, and after that it was just Page doing moves on him like he was his little brother.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Damn shame for Jay Lethal, but it is what it is. But I will agree with what you said. The bigger story is Hangman Page just running roughshod.
Professional wrestler, plying his trade.
God damn it, I'm sick of that shit.
I'm getting it over.
Pac backstage.
Finally.
Saying, he's got a guaranteed, he's the number one contender for the American Championship. And, basically saying he can't get it at Wembley, so he'll take it in Chicago. Same arena that he beat Kenny Omega in. He'll beat either MJF or Will Ospreay. So, good promo here.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Making a lot of sense. He is another guy that understands his character completely and inhabits it, and the guy can wrestle too. He, unfortunately, right now, he is the odd man out. I heard something interesting on a podcast this week. Yes, there are other wrestling podcasts. There's like 1 or 2. But,
Unprofessional bullshit.
Is this a spot for like Ricochet to come? Is Ricochet available to show up in AEW?
His contract, he could show up anytime.
I was going to say, I'm sure
him at Wembley.
You expect Ricochet at Wembley, or
All Out?
Can we get Kenny Omega?
No, Kenny's legitimately he had 25 centimeters of his colon removed, and he can't even bend over.
Yep, that'll do it.
It's not like it's a knee or something.
Jesus. Get your bitch ass up.
I saw Michael Nakazawa just today. He was saying that he had to go to Kenny's apartment and change the litter box because, Kenny can't bend over. So it'll be a long time.
I thought you were going to say he identifies as a cat.
Hell no. Dude, you ain't shit.
They got litter boxes in the bathrooms now. Did you hear that?
I said, I'll be damned.
Kids are out there identifying as cats. What's this world coming to?
It's been a long time overdue for Pac to at least be.
That's my impression of impulsive.
It's a long time overdue for Pac to come back and at least say something. I mean, look, I like Will Ospreay like the next motherfucker, but I mean, like I said, if you Pac, I mean, what the fuck? I'm just sitting here with the number one man waiting for my turn. Now all of a sudden, Will Ospreay's just going to jump in line. Once again, a promo makes all the sense in the world. Wasn't thinking Ricochet, but I was thinking, would Pac get involved in this title match in some form or fashion?
Man, I would hope not. I would not want that to happen. But
Ospreay jumped him.
I suppose it could. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I'd rather. They do a pretty good job of having mostly clean finishes. They even beat people you don't expect. You're like, nobody. You're like, look at a match and you're like, they should do a DQ here, even though they never do, and then they end up doing a pin. So.
Yeah, they rarely depend on DQs. But, if MJF Ospreay ended a DQ, I would be pissed.
I'm not saying I wouldn't love it. No, I wouldn't say I would like it. I'm just saying that I don't think it would end in a DQ. I would think Pac, in my scenario, Pac with attacks Will Ospreay to set up MJF to get the win.
I feel you.
Yeah. Darby Allin attacked, Jack Perry, I guess, attacked Darby Allin, and they brawled, but ends up saying Jack Perry, he wanted a coffin match at Wembley. So
Real dumb. Real dumb.
Wasn't the last match at Wembley that Jack was in was a coffin match against Christian, and that's whenever he did the Crimea River.
That was Hook. It was not a coffin match.
Oh, Hook.
It was not a coffin.
Okay.
It was not a coffin match.
It was just like a no DQ or whatever.
It was probably a FTW match.
FTW. Yeah, like a street fight.
Yeah.
Basically, no holds barred.
Well, I mean, you gotta vary up the. It's a variety show, so them doing kind of a no rules coffin match, I actually kind of maybe prefer it.
I have no problem with the match being a coffin match. I'm saying in kayfabe, Jack Perry, you're not going to beat Darby Allin in a coffin match. He paints half of his face.
I mean, I get it.
His finisher is called the coffin drop.
Right. I ain't mad at Jack Perry. The motherfucker put me on fire. I'll be ready to bury his ass.
I mean, Darby doing a coffin drop onto a coffin. I mean, that's going to happen.
That's even money. I mean,
and that is going to hurt.
Yes, I could totally see Darby doing some ill shit. Diving into the coffin as Jack Perry's in it to seal the deal. Yeah, totally could see that. I'm intrigued.
That's a hell of a bump to take.
The man went through glass.
No, I'm talking for Jack Perry. If he's laying in the coffin and
yeah, him too. I forgot about his ass. He be all right.
Not worried about Darby Allin. That
we
dude
put his
wants
ass
to
on
die.
fire.
He's
He'll be fine
to die.
So he'll be all
Darby
right.
Allin's gonna get hit by a lorry.
Yeah. Darby Allin's dream opponent is New Jack.
Oh my God.
They smoke crack together before and after the match.
New Jack just tossing him off scaffolding.
Right. He's fine. Don't worry about him. He's moving.
Fucking.
Amanda Shirakawa is back on TV, and basically she just said she hopes nobody gets seriously hurt here. She hasn't talked to Mariah or Tony. I fully expect her to be at Wembley, maybe even having a bit of something to do with the match, or at least being outside watching.
Oh, I think that she's going to help Mariah May win.
You just don't drop her in now at this point, and
she's not going to side with Toni Storm.
Right. Exactly. I think this was a tell.
Yeah. And, that's fine.
I mean, Tony shouldn't be getting beat clean. Well, I shouldn't say that. Actually, I would prefer that. But if you want to go the fuckery route, that's okay too.
Bill Veggie special with Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong. Pretty fun triple threat match. Man, Roderick Strong has to throw the hardest chops of a small guy I've ever seen.
He got a Napoleon complex.
He also got out of the ring and pretended to look under the ring for a table, and he went to all four sides before finally giving up, which was just fantastic heel stuff. Really loved that. But this was fun, and I was like, Kyle O'Reilly hasn't really done much since his return. Roddy, he held a belt recently. His buddies, Taven and Bennett, they currently hold belts. OC is OC. I was like, maybe Kyle O'Reilly will win this one. But nope. It was Orange Cassidy again.
Can't believe I can believe that Orange Cassidy won, and he's going to be the number one entry into the whatever it's called.
Casino Gauntlet match.
Casino Gauntlet, yeah.
Which is supposed to be an advantage.
Which makes no sense.
It makes sense because it can be over. Because the first
pin, whenever there's only two people in there.
Oh, they're doing it. They're doing it like that. I'm thinking a gauntlet match, Cassidy is the first guy in. Somebody comes in, he beats, fill in the blank, and then he moves on. Right. That's why I'm like, that doesn't. No, being the number one in that scenario, being the number one guy doesn't make sense. In the AEW realm, it makes total sense. But it still should have been Kyle O'Reilly.
I really like that style of match. It is kind of funny because I'm like, how many dudes do you have in reserve? How far down the line are you going in kayfabe?
Shit. In AEW, it's a deep roster. Motherfuckers that we ain't thought about could be popping out of that Joker. They ain't giving time.
Griff Garrison just
Orange Cassidy winning is
ready to rip.
Griff Garrison. Mortos is going to be in there. Mortos
right.
got the week off.
Look at him.
Orange Cassidy winning this is, man, that's boring.
I thought Kyle O'Reilly was going to flip on him. That's what I was kind of waiting for. It just feels like it's even with the faux pin before that when Kyle, accidentally swept Orange Cassidy's legs or whatever the case may be. I thought that, you could easily make that as a scenario where it wasn't an accident and Kyle's flipping heel. I was waiting for him to, get pissed off post-match, didn't get pissed off. So I was like, okay, this is a slow-ass burn, boy. It feels like Xavier Woods on the AEW side. I'm waiting for it to happen. It still ain't happened. It still ain't happened. I'm like, would you just flip and be done with it? Damn.
Man, Kyle O'Reilly's just, he has been treading water for a very, very long time going back to NXT. He was treading water so bad he tried putting on a fedora as a life preserver.
Nigga,
didn't
stop.
work.
Well, he was about to roll it down his arm like Fred Astaire.
Like the dude on I Think You Can Leave.
I'm not supposed to get grease on this hat. The guy at the store said I'm not supposed to get grease on this hat.
I'll be right back.
All right, we had Okada backstage with Claudio and Renee, and Okada talking about he's the greatest tournament wrestler around, 4-time G1 winner. He says, "Good luck, bitch." And Claudio then saying he's like, I want that Okada. I don't want the bootleg version. He's like, I'm going to bring my best. Since you'll have 99 problems, Okada, and this bitch ain't one, which is pretty good. But this match should bang as long as Okada breaks a sweat.
Right. And I think he's going to have to because Claudio is going to, bring that out of him. When I heard this was going to be a face-to-face, I was a little cringy because Claudio's not always the best talker. Okada is not always, this was going to have to be more than, shut up, bitch, or whatever the case may be. He was going to have to, actually speak. But I thought both guys did a really good job. Okada got in his catchphrase. Claudio played off of that and flipped it. So, now it made me intrigued for the match. My only problem is it's giving away next week, man. Put that shit on motherfucking Wembley. Damn. I'm going to sit there for 4 hours. Give me all the shit I want.
Oh, you're going to be sitting there a lot longer. There's already probably 12 other matches. I got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is Claudio saying all that shit to the camera instead of saying it to Okada's face.
Man, he did. Man, what you supposed to do? You going to run after Okada, motherfucker?
But have Okada stand there is what I'm saying. I'm not talking in kayfabe. I'm talking as a, have Okada stand there and have Claudio say it. That's all. Nitpicky. It was good. Okada's English is pretty good, man. Good for him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, totally. Christian Cage back there with Renee also, and pretty good. He sent Renee packing, and he's like, I said she's probably just as terrible of a mom as she is as an interviewer.
God damn.
It really feels like people are getting meaner to Renee Paquette.
Oh, shit. I'm like, dude, y'all need to stop.
It's a cheap way to get heat because Renee is probably the most likable person on the entire roster.
Right.
And so it's like a cheap way to get heat.
No, Moxie's around.
No, I know.
He's in the chair.
Right.
He's like, be mean to her.
Like, say it meaner.
Meaner.
Gross. Y'all niggas ain't shit, boy. I swear to God.
And Tony Schiavone did an interview with Hook. Hook is wearing a bandage because the learning tree forgot his gimmick and he thought he was the wizard again. And he threw a fireball at him. But he says he can't see out of that eye. But, what the problem is he can see just fine with the other one. I don't really care about this.
I don't really care about this.
It sounded retired, this angle, the FTW title. I mean, Hook and Jericho has been going on since Dynasty. when it was here. This is.
Man, that's true.
This is. I was thinking about this watching it.
What happened to Joe?
He got taken out by the
learning
forklift
tree
or whatever.
He got forklifted by the learning tree, and he's going to shoot the second season of Twisted Metal. So.
Well, I liked Joe and Hook together for as long as it lasted, and then it abruptly ended.
Yeah, Joe Hook Shibata. That was good.
Yeah, this is just this is a big old nothing sandwich.
I remember at Dynasty, I leaned over to Joey and it was Hook and Jericho was starting. I was like, this should be 5 minutes. I was like, nobody gives a shit about this. It was 23 minutes long.
Horrible. Just wouldn't end, man. God damn.
Kept going and going and going.
Now it's still going. I mean, fuck. I don't even care about this damn stip. I mean, that stip should have been 2 months ago. If we're trying to get Hook over, this ain't helping at all. Not even close.
The problem is Jericho, and really, the problem, that's the problem.
It would be better with a better heel. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
okay, but
this ain't it for Hook though either.
No. I get what you're trying to do, but no, he needs to be a badass little, baby face versus this, now we're trying to make him be a sympathetic baby face. First things first. Let's make him
turn him heel.
I don't know if that's going to work, but,
He can talk about chicken tendies.
He's more of a chip guy. He's like, now I can eat Doritos without dusting off my fingers.
Yeah. He eats rap snacks.
So then we had finally the tag team title match that the Acclaimed has had in the bag for probably 2 months now. Also the first match Young Bucks have had in a while. I love that we're talking about how, fighting champions, but they're barely even on TV, let alone wrestling. Acclaimed versus Young Bucks, and this was being played. This match was going on whenever you guys called me, so I did not finish this. So if you guys want to take it from here.
It was a match that lasted a pretty long time, and FTR came out. They interfered. The Acclaimed got all pissed off. The Bucks walked away smirking, and then Christopher Daniels acted like he'd never seen a wrestling show before, and he was like, "I just don't know what to do with these guys." And then so it's going to be the Acclaimed and FTR on Collision to see who the number one contender is. So they have to have a winner in one of those matches, either the Acclaimed and FTR or Bang Bang Gang versus House of Black. I think they'll
have 3 ways on both.
Man.
Wow. Get everybody on the show.
Even I'm like, that's a bit too much on the triple threat, right, guys?
One or the other, I would like to think. I mean, okay, let's say FTR.
If I could choose, I would choose the tag team, because 9 guys in the match is too many.
I was just going to say that feels about right. I as much as I don't want to see 2 triple threats, if you got to give me one, FTR, Acclaimed, Bucks sounds like the shit.
Old Party Match Pullman's over there, like 9 people. That's like the baseline for a party match, man. Can we get 15?
I say there could be another team over
here. Party match time.
I say we could build a second ring. It's okay. Don't worry about that shit. No, I agree with you. Triple threat tag team, fine. Somewhere, somehow, this Bang Bang Scissor Gang, House of Black has to have a winner.
There's no scissors left. It's just the Bang Bang Gang.
Did I say Bang Bang Scissor Gang? See,
you did.
There you go.
You got them on the brain.
It's just...
You got the Bang Bang Scissor Gang brain.
No, they just,
You love it.
It's PTSD, man. Shit.
It's like how Vietnam vets can't hear helicopters.
Right. It shouldn't have been the Scissor Gang. Damn.
What's next? Oh, yeah. So Zach missed this part, too. So we had...
debate event.
Wheeler Yuta versus Swerve Strickland. This also went on really late. They didn't do a commercial for the last half hour of Dynamite. I'm guessing somebody is paying a lot of money for that. But they stuck with it. Yuta Swerve. Bryan Danielson is sitting front row, and he's cheering on Yuta, man. He is cheering him on. And Swerve's kind of having his way with Wheeler Yuta, and then Swerve cuts a promo on Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson enters the ring, and Swerve puts him down. What do you think about this, Jason?
This was the warm-up match that Swerve was talking about, and it kind of played out as such. Wheeler Yuta trying to use his Forged in Combat Blackpool Combat Club moves, just getting outmaneuvered by Swerve, I thought was one of the telling points in the match. Out wrestling Yuta is one thing. I think, out wrestling Danielson would be something totally different. I don't think you would see that, but that's the story for me, was being told that no matter what Wheeler Yuta was trying to do, Swerve was a step, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead in certain points. The multiple house call kicks to Yuta obviously was to dig underneath Danielson's skin to get him into the ring. And then obviously the sneak attack after the fact feels like they're trying to position Swerve as the heel going into Wembley, which ain't going to be that hard to do. If you wanted to do it, this was a good start to do it. Kicking Danielson from behind, is a heel move. Swerve ain't too far from, being a heel. 2 steps to the right.
This was really heel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is a heel move, and that to me makes me think that there is going to be more to come. The shit talking up the ramp, it's all heel shit. I'm here for it.
Swerve is naturally a heel. And settling in as the heel against Bryan Danielson in a title versus career match just makes sense. Yep. It's the same reason that they did the American Championship thing with MJF. It's because it's going to play really well in Wembley.
Oh yeah, it will definitely draw a reaction.
Yeah. So, all right, that's AEW. We will obviously have predictions next week for All In. Is there anything else that either one of you want to mention?
No.
Rumors, innuendo. Okay, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we had 3 full nights of G1 and then 2 quarterfinal matches last week. What I'm going to do here, we're going to do Block A and Block B. We're just going to talk about the tournament, the main part of the G1, and then we'll get to the semis later. But we'll talk about it in a more general sense. But Zack Sabre Jr. wins Block A with 14 points. The only match that he's had since we last talked was against Sonata. A very good match, but Zack Sabre Jr. is your Block A winner. Grade his G1 so far, Jason.
Shit. Hey, honest. You've seen for me, you've seen what you need to see from Zack Sabre Jr. being the dominant person that he claims to be, that he's being booked as now, overall points leader. So if you want to play he's the number 1 overall seed, fine, let's go with that. That to me is where ZSJ should have been months ago. We're here now. He's going into the semifinals. We'll talk about his opponent here in a little bit. But for me, Zack Sabre Jr. has done nothing that I haven't even thought he should have been doing. This is perfect.
Zach Pullman Sr., what do you think about Zack Sabre Jr.?
Yeah. I'd agree with Jason. I'd give him A-.
I loved it. I don't think it really could have been any better. I guess there was no really one, that was the best match of the tournament with Zack Sabre Jr., but he was awesome. So, yeah.
Him and Gabe Kidd was, I finally saw that.
Yeah, that was the real deal,
Woo!
huh?
Woo!
Really good. Shingo ends up in the semis with 10 points. Give me a grade, Zach.
Oh, man, Shingo has been great. I'd say he had an A- tournament, too. Didn't win as many matches, but as far as his matches themselves, quality-wise, they were up there with the best of the best in the A block, which was a pretty stacked block talent-wise.
Jason, what do you think?
Well, I'm obviously just happy that Shingo got into the top 3, to be perfectly honest. My stance on Shingo has always been, he's the forgotten pandemic champion, or one of them. I'll give him a B+ for the overall tournament. He's had some really good matches. The Callum Newman hiccup aside, I thought that was just for, the tournament, but to see him lose surprisingly to Callum Newman, was a little bit of a hiccup in the tournament itself. It's not on him. It was still a good match. It played out to where it was just like, oh, shit, that just happened. So, kudos to Shingo on that. But, no, I thought he's had a strong tournament. I'm going B+.
He's been one of the best of the tournament. He has been just as good as Zack Sabre Jr., in my opinion. So I'll give him an A-. He's in the top 3 of the block in terms of performances for me. Great-O-Khan sneaks into the quarterfinals. Great-O-Khan getting the Naito booking, the evil booking, where he loses his first 4, wins his last 5, and ends up with 10 points. He went over Naito in the last night to sneak in. So Naito doesn't make the top 3. The champion not making the top 3. I'd say that's a good thing.
Defending champion of G1 and the current IWGP champion.
But getting back to Great-O-Khan right now, what do you think about Great-O-Khan's tournament? Give it a grade, Jason. Not a PWI grade, no kayfabe. Just give me a grade on his performance.
No, I was getting ready to say I was down on his matches to start, but as he started to win matches, his technique kind of just carried over. To me, he's like Zack Sabre Jr. light. He can do the things that Zack Sabre Jr. can, just not on that level. And watching him tie motherfuckers up throughout the tournament, going back to his roots of judo and all this other MMA shit that he can do, it was good to see finally getting some strong booking, beating Naito in a sense where I'm sitting there watching the match. I'm like, is he getting ready to beat? I'm rooting for Naito. I can't help it. But when he won, I was like, okay, I'm good with this because Great-O-Khan does have talent. It's finally time for him to get a good push. He got a good push. He won the last 5 in a row, so there's something to be said about that.
Zach? Zach Pullman?
He's dead.
I muted. I'm so sorry. I was trying to be polite.
Go ahead.
And I took a piss like 2 minutes ago, and didn't want you to have to hear that.
We'll cut it out in post.
Yes, he's had a good, some good mat wrestling. Total sleeper hit here as far as in kayfabe. Like, really did not expect him to come into his own so much, and it would have busted my block wide open to have him in the final 3. But yeah. He's been pretty fun to watch. Nothing special, but he's on the eyesore.
Yeah, he's okay. Sometimes he has really good matches. I think he is a guy who's very dependent upon his opponent. He has to have a game opponent, but not necessarily somebody that's like flippy. So Shingo was a really great opponent for him. They had a really good. They had a really good match the other night. But so next up we have Evil, who won his first 5, lost his first 4, loses to Great-O-Khan. He is out. Well, I'll just say this about Evil. I thought the beginning of the tournament was really good, and the end of the tournament was really bad, and I'm glad he didn't make it to the top 3. Jason?
Yeah, I watched that Shingo match. That was as House of Torture gets. I was totally surprised Shingo ended up winning that bad boy. I'm totally surprised Evil and someone else didn't advance to the quarterfinals. I'll hold off on that. Yeah, ultimately, especially coming out so quick, but this is the G1. I should have seen that coming, especially when he came out in that with 5 straight wins. He was going to hit a pothole. It's just there was a bunch of potholes in the way, which is perfect. Evil has a claim. He beat Naito, so Naito have a match against Evil, I'm sure. There's 3 other guys that Naito lost to, so Evil will be fine post G1, but in his G1, it's Evil and House of Torture shit. I mean, for 9 matches, you didn't miss much.
Zach, give Evil a grade.
F-.
Damn. I was going to say D+. The Japanese crowd must fucking love him. Tetsuya Naito, also with 10 points, but outside of the quarterfinals. Zach, go ahead and give Naito a grade.
C-?
Yeah. About where I'm at. Not a very good tournament.
Y'all being
Looks
nice.
old, looks run down. Jason, you want to give a grade?
D.
Yeah.
And then I'm being nice.
So tell me what you see when you see Naito.
No, you were saying it. You were saying it. I was thinking about it on the way over here. It's one of the him losing the title didn't make sense. Him winning the title back didn't make sense. You know, watching him as the defending champion and
him winning
struggle.
the G1 last year really didn't make sense.
It made sense because to me Okada's on the way out, so you do what you think is the smart thing. You give it to the next best, person that's on your roster, the most recognizable, the one that's going to pack houses. Okay, fair enough. It's time to admit that shit just didn't work, and now on top of that, you didn't have a backup plan for Okada leaving, Will Ospreay leaving, Jay White leaving. So now you have this big ass void of a talent gap where you haven't elevated anybody, and those who have been elevated are now so old they can't carry the company the way you need them to get other people.
They're currently elevating people. Next up,
now they are.
Jake Lee with 8 points. Let's hear from the podcast's number one Jake Lee fan. 2 beers. 2 beers. Zach Pullman.
C-.
Jason.
I'll tend to agree with that. I like Jake Lee, but
I like the Shingo match.
I like the Shingo match. I like the Gabe Kidd match. Sonata was a surprise, but I think that was more of the flash in the pan than anything else. I thought him and Shota was good together. Just not what I expected, I guess, from Jake Lee. I liked his Noah matches a lot more. This I don't know, something was off.
Just shows you how good Kento Miyahara is. He can have dope matches with him.
Okay.
Listen, Jake Lee was a C. I think with what you see with Jake Lee is what you're going to get. That's probably his ceiling is pretty good, you know. Sonata. Oh, sorry, I just fell asleep when I thought of him. He ends up with 8 points. Last night, he loses to Zack Sabre Jr. It was a pretty good match. Jason, why'd you give Sonata a grade?
You ain't shit, nigga. Damn. Sonata's up and down, and even post losing the title, pre-losing the title, this felt like the usual Sonata. Okay, when is he going to slip on the banana peel kind of moments? C+.
Yeah, he had a couple fucking really good matches towards the end. The Shingo match was fucking awesome, and the Zack Sabre Jr. match was really good the other night, too. So, Gabe Kidd, that dude, with 8 points. Gabe Kidd the other night lost his final match against, or no, he beat Callum Newman. That's right, it was in the curtain jerker. We'll give him a grade.
Hey, I'll say if Takeshita wasn't around, he's my MVP. He's done it basically everything that I could ask for him, and done commentary in a way that made me giggle when I listen to commentary, and that's always a good fucking sign. Gabe Kidd is the truth. Hopefully he gets a push that is non-New Japan strong title related.
He is also my Block A MVP. I would give him an A also. He is getting himself over, and that guy is fucking the truth.
He's a madman.
Zach, what do you give him?
Yeah, I agree. He gets an A for sure.
Shota Umino is next with 8 points. Shota Umino, the man who was barely there. There's not really a single Shota match that sticks out in my head from this entire tournament. He beat Evil the last night in what was truly one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life.
I like the him and Zack Sabre Jr. I thought was a solid match. I really think that whatever was hurting him really started to act up towards the end of the tournament. You could see him grimacing more and more as matches went on. That's not a fault on him. That shit happens. He was obviously hurt coming into the tournament. I will give him all the credit in the world for gutting this out and making it through without dropping out. I'll give him a B.
Wow, Zach.
Shota?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. Definitely disappointing showing from Shota. I'm sure he's not happy with it either. But yeah, big guts there. But yeah, like B-.
And then Callum Newman brings up the rear with 4 points. He lost to Gabriel Kidd the last night. Give it a grade, Zach.
A- from Callum Newman, man. He really showed up for every match and really made an impact. Really made a name for himself in this tournament.
Wow. What do you give it, Jason?
Like Callum Newman, but not like Bolton Oleg more. Between the two quote unquote rookies of the G1, I'm gonna give Callum Newman a B-.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he didn't get a whole lot of time. He was there to take pins. He's 20 years old or 21 years old. If I'm grading him like against everybody else, then he probably gets like a C+, like a B-. If I'm grading him on a curve, which I don't think there's anything wrong with doing, I mean, then yeah, I'd give it an A-. I thought that he never embarrassed himself,
Nope.
and it was always pretty good.
Yeah.
So up next,
it's better than other guys that could have been in the tournament. It's not like Tai Chi is should be pissed, but he still could be in the tournament.
Yoshihashi?
It's better than having Yoshihashi in the tournament. There you go. Perfect.
Kenta?
Yes. Yes.
Block B, David Finlay wins Block B with 12 points. The only one with 12 points, and he beat Jeff Cobb in a really good match, and he beat ELP in a really good match. So, if I was going to give David Finlay a grade for this tournament, I would give him a B. Jason, how about you?
I was going to say B+. B+ is probably pushing it. There was a couple of clunkers that he had, but I don't think that's necessarily his fault per se. Sometimes your dad's partner does have something to do with it as well, but overall, I think David Finlay is one of the better wrestlers that they have on the New Japan roster. It played out here. Him and Takeshita, I thought, had a banger-ass match, too, so got to throw that in there, but Takeshita's having banger-ass matches with everybody.
Zach?
Yeah, I was going to lean towards the B+. He had a lot of really good matches. He came off like a star, and not a whole lot of terrible fuckery, even though he's Bullet Club. So
Takeshita makes it in with 10 points. They gave me a sweat there at the end. I was rooting for him pretty hard. He loses to Oleg Boltin, and then he has to beat Ren Narita in truly a nail-biter for me. I did not want Ren Narita to win this match.
I totally thought he was going to win.
Jason, give him a grade.
He's the MVP. This is A++, scale breaker type shit. All I can think is when he goes back to AEW, there needs to be something for him. I don't know what it is, but it needs to be towards the top of this card. I am sorry. There is no reason in the world for Takeshita to be, muddled in the Don Callis family. He needs to either be the star of the Don Callis family or be a star on his own. He had so many good matches in this fucking tournament. Happy that he made it to the quarterfinals. He's the MVP of the tournament. Like I said, A+.
Zach?
Yep, MVP of the whole damn thing. Yeah, A+ all day.
Man, I really did not want him to lose to Narita. I thought they were going to do it
when he lost to Boltin Oleg, I thought that's when he was out.
Fuck. God, that was close. Yota Tsuji makes it into the quarterfinals with 10 points. He lost to Yuya in a match that Yuya got hurt, dislocated his elbow, and had to retire. But Yuya still went over Yota Tsuji that night in the main event. And then Tsuji beat Jeff Cobb in pretty heavy-hitting main event for the last night to see who got in. Gotta admit, when Cobb got pinned, I was a little disappointed. But getting back to Yota Tsuji, I'd give him a B.
I would give him a B. I was slightly disappointed as well, just because I like Jeff Cobb. But if you're going to push somebody of the Three Musketeers, Four Musketeers, whatever you want to call them, Yota Tsuji is the one that has stood out from pretty much the start, where you put him in spots against Will Ospreay and the like. He's rose to the occasion.
He had a title shot against Sonata.
So in that scenario, and that came out of nowhere, nobody knew what to expect, and all of a sudden, 10 minutes in, I'm like, this motherfucker might actually win the title. I mean, he had me so...
That was the first time I'd ever heard of him.
I heard it, obviously, because I watched the undercard bullshit. I've seen him and Uemura have, what did they say, like 52 ties or some crazy shit.
Yeah,
just ridiculous number. So, I mean, I knew of him, but you didn't know what he could do in a big match setting. And then all of a sudden, he's doing, Fosbury flops over the top rope. You're like, who the fuck is this guy? So, I mean, it's not like we haven't seen it before. I just thought that this be a chance to push someone else not named Yota Tsuji. Not mad about this at all. That means that, hopefully there is something on the horizon for him going down the line.
Zach, Yota Tsuji?
Yeah, I'd give him a solid B for this tournament. Kind of more of a standout earlier in the year, but a good showing here.
He got outshone by Takeshita, is what happened.
Unfortunately, yeah.
He was going to be the all-star of the block.
Probably.
And then Takeshita went in there and whooped all that ass. And,
I actually think he got outshone a little bit, even by like Bolton Oleg, who was just remarkably good. Just way more dynamic. Tsuji didn't show us anything that he hasn't shown us before. He was good matches, but I, for one, was just not ready for the level that Takeshita brought to the G1. He was the best guy in the whole tournament, and then the level of like physicality that Oleg brought, which was completely different, like a different dynamic in his matches. Like really fun, really varied block, and Tsuji was just kind of that classic New Japan guy in there, which was cool, but it wasn't anything super special.
But Takeshita, like we're saying, though, I mean, he looked like a star. He looked like a guy that could be the actual ace of the company.
Of any company.
Of any company going forward.
Of any company, yeah.
Yeah, so Ren Narita just outside of it with 10 points. Listen, the House of Torture bullshit isn't as bad with Narita matches as it is with Evil. It still ain't good. Ren Narita didn't look forward to any of his matches. A couple of his matches were okay. He gets a D+.
I like Ren Narita. The House of Torture shit is the anchor on the Titanic ultimately. C-.
Titanic hit an iceberg.
But it was already going down. You don't need dead weight on the Titanic. Shit.
Oh, I got you. Okay, that makes sense. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I agree with Jason. B-.
Jeff Cobb with 10 points. Jeff Cobb had a lot of really great matches. I give Jeff Cobb an A here.
I was going to say B+, but A it's pretty much in that same area. I'm glad that Jeff Cobb got some love. It's been a little minute since he's gotten some sort of recognition. Being TV champion is a start. Strong G1 here is a nice little momentum push. So, hopefully Jeff Cobb finished the year off strong. It's not like he had bad matches by any stretch. 10 points in the G1 is good. Double digits in G1 is good. So, I mean, for that scenario, the booking is solid. And the fact that he's had some good matches, like you said, him and Takeshita, I thought was really good as well. So,
I mean, him and Oleg Bolton was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's big men, big meaty men slapping meat. That was that's one of my faves.
What do you give it, Zach?
Yeah, I give him Cobb an A- here. He was really good tournament.
Hanare coming up next with 8 points. Hanare lost to Narita, and Hanare beat Goto in the final night. I was kind of rooting for Goto there, too.
Yeah, I'll be lying if I said otherwise.
What grade would you give him, Zach?
I'd say Hanare had a solid B+. B+. He's a super physical guy. lot of more presence than he used to have. Like, it wasn't that long ago when he was a young boy either, really.
Mm-hmm.
His matches were like, I looked forward to a lot of his matches, and they all delivered.
I can't imagine calling Hanare a young boy. What do you give it, Jason?
I'm going solid B. Hanare was one of the guys I was curious to see how he's going to get booked. I know he can go. He's, as the Never Champion, it's the BMF equivalent from UFC, so he's just going to have that physical style. Like you said, him and Goto coming into the final night, I was like, as much as I like Hanare, and as much as I want him to see him get pushed and booked strongly as the Never Champion, I would be lying if I said I wasn't rooting for Goto. So him to beat Goto in that spot, I thought was a step in the right direction for Hanare. So, it's important that they're, developing these young talents. Hanare is in that group. So good to see that. Good matches, physical as fuck. So, yeah, positive signs, B.
I had picked Hanare going into it. It was kind of my crazy pick. And it seemed crazy, but, Great O'Khan got in. Great O'Khan would seem like a crazy pick, too. So, I give it a solid B. Hiroki Goto, I'm giving a solid A to. He didn't really have a bad match. He was tremendous. Jason?
I'm going B+. He got me into the tournament as it went along. Not necessarily great matches to start. Typical Goto, good to get, to keep you interested, but his story as he started to get hot, could he sneak into the back door? And then you got the fans kind of rooting him on, him coming out with his children, I guess it was 2 or 3 nights ago. That was one of the moments of the G1, coming out with his kids post-match after a dub. So, yeah, for me, Goto was one of those unsung heroes that if you watched it all, you really started to get invested in his story. So for me, I'm going B+.
Zach?
Yeah, I'll give him an A-. I love Goto. He's always been a standout on the G1, and really slid well into his veteran role here as one of the older guys who has won G1 before and is a legitimate contender in every single match and hard-hitting as shit. And he's going to give it to you, with no Ishii, like no Nagata, none of those guys.
He's one of the last of the old guard, for sure.
Yep.
Oleg Boltin also with 8 points. He beat Takeshita in the match that I mentioned earlier, and he got a bye the last night, or got a victory because he was supposed to fight Yuya. It's really kind of interesting what were they going to do with Yuya? Because anyway, we'll get there. But Oleg Boltin, Jason.
Zack Sabre Jr. said it, and I said it last week, and him being Takeshita, not saying it's going to happen, but, Boltin Oleg is Boltin Oleg is on the way up. I'm going A-. There's a lot of things that you could take away from him that are very positive signs, and very few things that you could say that he did poorly. The points aside, I thought watching him develop in his matches was the key thing. Him getting 8 points is great, but him being more of a complete young Brock Lesnar, that's what I keep thinking when I see him wrestle. He can do a lot of things that a young Brock Lesnar could. You keep him on this track and you keep him signed, he could be a future world champion. I'm putting that out there.
Dang. I'll give it an A-. Yuya Uemura has to withdraw from the last match against Oleg, which means he could have ended up with 10 points, which is kind of interesting to think about. But what kind of grade do you give Yuya, Jason?
B.
Zach?
Solid.
Yeah, I would say in this, he's in that kind of Yoda Suji level. I give Yoda a B. I'll give Yuya a B.
Yeah, it sucks that he got hurt.
I'd been real curious to see how that one played out.
Yeah, because, that affects Yoda Suji, too. So,
right.
But anyway, I'll give him a B. He started off really good. He was really great. Kind of fell back to the pack towards the end. And then finally we got El Phantasmo with 6 points. Zach, did El Phantasmo have your match of the tournament with Takeshita?
That is 100% my favorite match. Absolutely, yeah.
Jason?
Yeah. Takeshita Goto I thought was solid too. Really, really good. But ELP did the things that I was kind of waiting for him to do as a heavyweight. Now that he's solo dolo, you got the best ELP, one of the best ELP matches I think I've ever seen with him and Takeshita. So yeah, it's Takeshita is going to be the common denominator when it comes to matches.
Was ELP coming into the tournament with the whole sad boy shtick? Was that a good move or a bad move?
I think it depends on who you ask. He comes in as as a sympathetic babyface, but then his matches kind of felt a little slow to start. But then once the matches got going, ELP kind of got you into the matches with his athleticism or whatever the case may be.
What grade?
C.
Oh.
C+, fine.
A-.
No, I don't like the whole weepy baby. Just, come on, man.
He had a really good match against Goto. He had a really good match against Finley too. ELP was doing.
If we're talking matches, I'll go B. There you go. Fair.
Zach?
Yeah, I'll give him probably a B+, A-. Just that he had other good matches, but that Takeshita match was they were just doing shit that nobody could touch them. In that match, they were great.
They were the best wrestlers in the world that night. Man from Ringside. So we had the quarterfinals last night. Shingo goes over Great Khan in about 27, 28 minutes.
They went after
it. Big long match. What you think of this, Jason? I know Zach didn't watch it.
No, kind of expecting Shingo to win. Glad that he did, but Great Khan did have a good account. Held himself well. Took a little bit of a Shingo's arm with him, leaving Shingo a little dinged up going forward to one Zack Sabre Jr. That's not a good sign going forward to that match. So something to look forward to going into the semifinals. But I thought this was a good show on both sides. This was in the loss. Great Khan looks good.
Zach Pullman, is there any chance that Shingo goes over Zack Sabre Jr.?
Yeah, I would say that there is a chance. I give it a 1 in 3 chance.
That's a little higher than I would do it. I would say it's like a 1 in 6.
It is G1. I won't say never. I'll meet you guys somewhere in the middle. I'll give it a 1 in 4 chance.
Tsuji goes over Takeshita in a match that was, I don't think it was quite as long.
No, but they got after it.
Tsuji goes over. So, Jason, we're going to have Yota Tsuji versus David Finlay in the finals. First of all, what you think of the match, and who do you think is going to win the finals?
This, to me, was one of the, I guess, the match that made me, reminded me how good Yota Tsuji is, and not on the level of Takeshita, but given time, given seasoning, I could see him being the IWGP champion a year from now, or whatever the case may be. I thought this was a really good match. Not on the level of ELP Takeshita, but maybe a notch, 2 notches down. I still think David Finlay is going to beat Takeshita. I'm sorry, Takeshita. I still think he's going to beat Yota Tsuji. I don't want that to happen. I want you to. Now I'm at the point where I want Yota Tsuji to get that push. Just move him up to the fucking card, strap a rocket up his ass, and let him just go. And let's just figure out what the fuck happens when we get him up there. But I expect David Finlay to beat Yota Tsuji, unfortunately.
Zach, who do you think's going to win?
Yeah, I feel like Finlay is probably going to the finals. He's just Ghetto's guy right now, and that's really the main reason. But I think that
he was Ghetto's guy before, and then all of a sudden, he's losing to Nick Nemeth.
I would be shocked if David Finlay beat Yota Tsuji.
I would not be.
I'll be shocked. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised to hear both of you guys say that, because to me, this is Yota Tsuji is a bigger deal, and he's Japanese, and I think that Zack Sabre Jr. is going to beat Shingo. So Zack Sabre Jr. versus David Finlay in the G1 finals.
That's what I had to begin with. I'm not saying it because that was my pick. David Finlay's kind of scuffled a little bit. This is the time to get him back on track. And I've always said Yota Tsuji has the New Japan Cup to fall back on. ZSJ.
Yeah, but timing is everything.
I'm
Now's
not
the time
disagreeing
for
with
Yota Tsuji.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I love the G1 because of this shit. But I still think at the end of the day, it's Zach all the way, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, it just seems like a bigger. I mean, getting to the finals is a big deal, and I feel a lot surer of Yota Tsuji than I do of Zack Sabre Jr.
Whoa. Say that again?
I think there's a better chance that Shingo beats Sabre Jr. than Finlay beats Tsuji. I just can't see Finlay winning this match. Man, maybe I.
So you got Shingo.
No. I have Zach versus Tsuji.
No, but just from what you just said right there, you feel that Shingo beats ZSJ. You think Yota Tsuji beats Finlay. So you have a Shingo Yota Tsuji LIJ final.
No, what I'm saying is there is a better chance in my mind that Tsuji beats Finlay.
You're basically saying what I'm saying.
Zach, do you agree with that? You disagree with that, don't you?
I don't disagree. I can see it happening either way. I can see any of that happening with those four guys, really.
Well, next week we'll be talking about it. Pretty exciting. Whatever matches it ends up being, I'm going to want to watch.
Yeah, that's going to say the Final Four is a solid Final Four. It's got a little bit of everything. Former champions,
young guys,
potential young guys, current champions,
Bullet Club leader.
Yeah, so no problem with this. I'm looking forward to the weekend starting on Saturday night or Saturday morning.
Man from Ringside.
I don't know what there is to say about NXT, if there's anything to say. You didn't watch it either, did you?
No, I didn't get a chance.
There's nothing really. Joe Hendry came out to talk to Ethan Page. Wesley came out and kicked Joe Hendry.
I'll do it.
Doesn't look like Trick is done with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne's also not done with Wesley. Like, he was talking tons of shit to Wesley. Pete Dunne had a segment backstage and a segment up front. He had a segment backstage about Trick Williams and a segment up front with Wesley. So Pete Dunne is all over that shit. But
Good
anyway,
for Pete,
Obafemi beat Otis, which was...
I heard that was a solid match.
It was a solid match. Chase U became tag team titles holders. Ridge Holland and Andre Chase beat Nathan Fraser and Axiom.
Ridge Holland won the titles. Okay, interesting.
Yep. Ridge Holland. So that's your NXT recap.
Man from Ringside.
I thought that nigga was going to flip heel.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. Big Bill, 37 years old. Cedric Alexander, 35 years old. Saraya is 32. Lillian Garcia is 58. Lillian Garcia, call me. Come find me. She I always had a thing for Lillian Garcia. Velveteen Dream is 29.
What?
He's 29. Byron Saxton is 43. Gunther is 37. Nathan Jones. You remember Nathan Jones?
I saw a video on him. I think Kurt Angle was throwing him and Brock and somebody else around. It was weird. I should have put it on Friends of BFR.
He was in a tag match with Undertaker at WrestleMania 1 year. He was also just in Furiosa at Mad Max Saga.
Look at you.
So he is 55. Trent Seven, we hardly knew ye, 43.
Stop.
Eve is 40, and Eric, I think his name is Roe with War Machine, but he is 40.
Rabbit Fever.
Hey, everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Tender Mahal,
Check.
for Murray the Murray Man Murray,
Check.
for Lucha Chris, for
Check.
Patriot Pads,
Check.
for Brett Jagger,
Check.
for Bo Vice Geisman,
Check.
for Two Beers, Zach Pullman,
Check.
for Jason Cornelius.
Get you out, bitches.
I am Bill Vagey.
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Double check.
Free Palestine.
Triple check.
Give your parents a call.
Check.
And never, ever forget, you got to boo the heels.
Boo!
Shut up, bitches.